Hello, everybody. It's Jenny on my diet journey talking about HCG. I am in the middle of a class, not in the middle of a class. I have a class where it looks like a student is not going to show up for, and we're 15 minutes in. I have 15 more minutes before my next class starts. So I thought, let me try and see if I can pop in a video here really quick. All right, so I am on day 15 of my diet, and today I got on the scale and lost zero point 0.9 pounds. So that's exciting. Almost a whole pound. Now, right before I got on the scale, I did have a bowel movement, which was exciting in and of itself because it had been, when was the last time I had one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. 6 days. So I'm sure that had something to do with it, although it wasn't massive or anything. It's just that we're eating things that our body needs, and there's just not a whole lot of waste happening. Body's using so much of it, so it takes a while to accumulate. So anyway, so that it had some factor, and I had a chicken taco, and now I'm going to kick myself for not looking this up ahead of time. Let me see if I can find. Oh, who is the person? Because I do want to give a shout out. Let me start talking and see if I can do two things at one time. um, I, um, oh, is this it? Oh, I am so sorry. I only have 15 minutes and I am not doing a good job at. Yes, this is it. Okay. I had gotten a message or a reply on one of the videos from a dieter named Tiffany Martin. And she said that what she likes to eat on P2 is taking a crock pot, putting chicken, salsa, and garlic in it, and eating it. Totally P2 friendly, even if you're on the strictest of diets, although I guess tomatoes are sometimes up in the air vegetable. But generally speaking, very P2 friendly, very, very P2 friendly. I'm like, oh, that sounded good. So I went yesterday. I had a whole bunch of chicken in the refrigerator anyway. I put 5 chicken breasts, um, cut them up into smaller pieces with my scissors into the crock pot. All I had was a half a jar of paste, like the tall, thin paste salsa. All I had was like a half a jar of that left. And I thought, well, this isn't enough for 5 chicken breasts. But I thought, well, we'll see. So I put it in, it looked like nothing. I did put a little bit of water in the jar too, just to swish it around and get all the rest of the tomato and everything out of there. And because it looked like there was almost no liquid in there anyway, I knew the chicken would generate some liquid on its own, but I put that in there and then I put probably a tablespoon of garlic. Now, Tiffany didn't give me any measurements. She just said chicken, garlic, and salsa. So I thought, well, we're going to wing it. We're going to see how this all works out. And I threw that into a crock pot. I put it on low, and that was at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon one day. I checked it that evening. It was good, but I felt like it could still use even more because I wanted to be able to really break up the chunks because I wanted to make it a little bit more shredded. So I let it go all night long. So from 4 o'clock until the next morning. Let me tell you, the next morning, this stuff smelled like the bomb and it did not need more in there. Now it was even like a little runny, so I left the top off then for about an hour and let some of it evaporate because I didn't want it too runny. Because I also knew I'd be putting it in my low carb wheat tortilla at some point. So the first thing I did was have a tiny, like about 2 tablespoons of it in a little bowl, and I ate that earlier in the morning, more like around noon. Oh, it was so good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Tiffany, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, and then later in the day, I went and put some, and I didn't use a whole bunch. I know I didn't use 4 ounces, but I put some on a tortilla, put a little mozzarella and a whole bunch of lettuce. And I ate that and to die for, and just a nice change from my turkey tacos. I love turkey tacos. But this was just a nice change because it had a different flavor. It didn't have the taco seasoning, it had the salsa in it. Um, Very, very good. And now I'm going to do true confessions. I went back and had another. I never have two tortillas in the same day. And of course, in my brain, I'm justifying it. It's only four carbs. How many carbs are in an apple? I don't know, 10, 20. Um, and it's only 70 calories. How many calories are in an apple? 70 to 90. So I, in my brain, justified. I made another one. I put it just on the side, the meat on the side, put a splattering of mozzarella cheese on it, and then folded it in half and put it in the toaster oven. It came out crunchy on the sides with like a crunch and like I wanted a panini press, but I don't have a panini press. I have like a sandwich maker, but it like literally takes a piece of bread and then kind of cuts it into triangles and like so I just thought it would just make a mess of this in there. So I don't have a just a plain grill panini maker. Didn't need it. Folded it over, I pressed it really good so that it wouldn't pop open, put it in the toaster oven for like a high cycle of toast. And it even had a little brown around the edges and that, and a crunch to it when I ate it. It would have been amazing with the guacamole too. And I thought about that. And I really, as I was making it, thinking this is going to be really good with a cool guac on top of it with the warmness of it. But I didn't. I resisted the temptation. I knew it would be amazing with guacamole. I did not put any guac with it because was my second tortilla in the day, and I normally don't do that. So yeah, so yesterday was a whole different kind of eating day because I went to the chicken instead of the turkey taco. I do believe the chicken was a lot more lean than the ground turkey meat is. So that's good. I think it's good to have a little bit of variety every now and then in my diet. So that's good. I love that it was something just that I really enjoyed eating. Thank you again, Tiffany. And that it was so simple. That's even more. I do not like to cook. When people are like, oh, here's a great recipe, and it has 10 ingredients and like 9 steps. Eh, I am a crock pot cooker. Give me 4 ingredients that all go into the same crock pot, and then you just turn it on and walk away. That's my kind of cooking. Or even if it has to go in the oven, I don't care. Same thing. Put it all in a pan, put it in the oven. I'm happy with that. That's how I do the majority of my cooking for my family. So this was amazing. Anybody else who has good ideas for P2 friendly foods and how you prepare them that taste good, let me know down below and I will be sure to share it on this video for everybody else. All right, now I don't have a whole lot of time to talk about what I was going to talk about because I went on and on about that chicken, but I do want to share because I think that that is something that you will all enjoy. 100%. So good. And Tiffany, if you want to reply with your actual measurements of how you prepare it, it might even be better if I added a little bit more salt. I mean, I will add more salsa next time if I have it. But yeah, it was still amazing, still good, and I have a whole bunch in the refrigerator now that I can just pull out, put in a tortilla, or just warm up in a bowl if I just want a little protein snack, and I'm good to go. Okay, really quickly, let's go over the history of obesity. We had come to near the end of the protocol, and so basically everything that was going on from where I was leaving off yesterday was talking about after you're done with treatment. So I thought I'm going to hold off till later on in the diet in case people are following along and you really don't want to hear about what to do at the very end. If you really want to know what to do at the very end, I'm sure I have videos from previous years that you can click on. I don't know if I've ever done the history of obesity. I probably did, but let's go over it really quick because it's not too long. There was a time, not so long ago, when obesity was considered a sign of health and prosperity in man and beauty. This attitude probably dates back to the Neolithic times, about 8,000 years ago, when for the first time in the history of culture, man began to own property, domestic animals, land, houses, pottery, and metal tools. Before that, with the possible exception of some races such as the Hottentots, never heard of them, obesity was almost non-existent. As it still is in all wild animals and most primitive races. Today, obesity is extremely common among all civilized races because a disposition of the disorder can be inherited. Wah, wah, wah. Sadly, if I side note, I do have an obese mother, and both of my grandparents were both obese. Both my grandmothers were both obese, and one grandfather. Uh, Inherited. Whenever or Whenever abnormal fat was regarded as an asset, sexual selection tended to propagate the trait. It is only in the very recent times that manifest obesity has lost some of its allure. Though the cult of the outsized bust, always a sign of latent obesity, shows that the trend still lingers on. So he's basically saying because men like boobs, obesity trend is still kind of continuing because larger breasts are affiliated with obesity. I don't think that's why. I don't think men are also attracted to obese women if they are attracted to large breasts. Um, then again, this was written in the 60s. All right. So, yeah. It basically just goes back to saying a long time ago everybody was thin, just like the current animals that we have living in the wild right now. Um, Caveman days and that, nobody was really obese during that time. Everybody struggled and lived off the land and had some hard labor to get through things. And then um, came a time of opulence and wealth. And as you can see, if you go to art museums and galleries, you see very voluptuous women eating grapes and lathered in gold chains and all that. It's because obesity, the only people who could be obese were the wealthy people. So it was a sign of opulence, wealth, and then very sexually attractive as well. And the pendulum swings, and we're back to the time that is no longer, and all information also comes along with knowing about the health risks of being obese. So, okay, that's all I have for today. I need to get going. It's time to go to my next class. I will be in touch with you tomorrow with a new topic. I think it's still related around obesity. And good luck on your diet journey. Tell me how you're doing, share your great recipes, and I will see you tomorrow.